Welcome along to another episode of the Shirtless Plantain Show. It is your host, Tosin. This is the Manchester United edition. Today I have with me Tomi as always, and today we added Imani. Imani, how are you doing today?
It's been a day.
The Arsenal edition has a Jamaican, so we decided to bring up our own Jamaican as well. So
My girl, yeah, I'm gonna have to cuss her in the future, but yeah.
yeah. And instead of Arsenal, doing the daggering, we got daggered. So that's what happened today. So
I actually, funny enough, I missed the first 20 minutes of the game because
you
I
didn't
You
miss
slept
it.
didn't miss.
because I
Yeah, but you
slept
didn't miss
through it.
anything.
I've been recovering from COVID and I woke up late and I was like, wow, I could have just stayed asleep because what the fuck is this? Oh, sorry, I cursed.
It's okay. It's fine. Listen, it's Man United. It is what it is. We're at this point right now where everyone's frustrated. And I think the most frustrating thing about this game, and I'll let you talk after, is that we've seen this, right? Like we knew this is exactly what's gonna happen once we kept them. I think that all of us who've watched enough United over the years, and even under this manager for the last 3 years, we know that like he came as a promising coach from Netherlands, whatever, but he started to what's the word I'm trying to say? I'm trying to be very nice here. But he has very cowardized tendencies, right? And it shows in the way that he manages teams, and it makes the players look even bad. So, tell me, the floor is yours. Talk to me what you saw over that 90 minutes.
Hey, like this man is genuinely an ins. I was talking to my friend, and I'm not sure if it's on purpose, but remember the end of last season? I'm not sure if anyone tracked. There was a point in time where I was like, I didn't want to keep him, but I was like, I can understand some of his decisions. But there was a point where I just straight up flipped and I said, no, he gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was around like towards the end of the season when we started making a run to like see if we can sneak top four. We couldn't, but there was hope. And I was like, oh, he actually can play with the pieces he has. He actually can realize, okay, this is what I have. I can work with this. I can move stuff around. I can still have a somewhat basis of how I want to play, but mold it to what I have. I was like, oh, so he just wasted 70-80% of the season just ramming his head against the wall, not playing Ahmad, having Rashford do touchline winger shifts, putting Casemiro next to Mino, letting Bruno be Bruno. After a while, you're like, oh, so he does know what he's doing. He's just stubborn and thinks he's smarter than everyone and who lie to our faces. No, it's if today didn't. I mean, I don't know why today would, like you said, today's nothing new. Like all this stuff happened. Like all this stuff is stuff you can remember. I remember towards the point last year again. Me and Tosin were like, we're just saying the same things in this podcast. Like it's the same thing, just different. Insert team name, insert score. That's literally all it is.
Imani and Tony, I'm going to give you guys a date, right? And this is when I knew that he was cooked as a coach. It was November 11th, 2023. We were home against Luton, and that's when, what's it called? Lindelof scored that goal. And I was just like, those sort of games, right? It was Luton, and I forgot who was the other team that got promoted last year.
Sheffield.
Sheffield
Sheffield.
United. I'm trying to remember. Yes, it was the
No, it was
October
Sheffield
game. That
against
away game.
Sheffield.
Yes, that away game, right? Against Sheffield United on the 21st of October. That game right there, when, October 21st, 2023, we were away. McTominay scored first and Dalot scored in the 77th, right? That game in itself is a microcosm of everything that Erik Ten Hag is and isn't as a manager. He is very cowardized. He's very scared, and the football's not good. And the football
Yeah.
hasn't been good. And that game against Sheffield, because the reason why I bring that up is because I remember Arsenal played against Sheffield United last year. And I know exactly where I was because I'm about to flex. But Arsenal played against them, and I was in Palm Springs. That was March 4th, right? I never forget I was in Palm Springs. I was watching that game. Arsenal beat them 6-0. And I thought to myself, we struggled against Sheffield United and barely beat them 2-1. Arsenal beat the brakes off them 6-0. And obviously, Mikel Arteta is a much different coach than Erik Ten Hag. But in that moment right there, when I knew there's no saving grace for him. No matter how much money you want to throw at this, no matter how much players you want to get, he's cooked and he's not a good manager.
I'm so glad you said that because that was also the defining game for me. And I'll admit, I didn't think back then was the time to sack him purely just because the season was already underway. We were having money problems with the transfers going into winter, and I didn't think we would find a suitable replacement. So in my mind, I had written that season off, but my stance was always he has to go at the end of the season. There was no saving it for me after that Sheffield game. Like
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we keep him for now just for reasons, but he cannot stay. Even after he won the FA Cup, I was like, I don't care. I've seen enough. Like nothing is going to change this. As you said, he is stubborn and he chooses to be stubborn, and that's fine. You want to be stubborn, fine, but you need to go. And we had the whole summer, and you're going to tell me that there was not one manager that you could go out and find? Because that's another thing. I don't want Gareth Southgate. I do not
Oh,
want him. I've never liked him. I will never rate him. I don't care. So I don't want him. I don't want Ten Hag. I don't want Southgate. But like, there has to be someone. There has to be someone in the realm of how many freaking managers are around in Europe. You're gonna tell me you can't find one? I mean, I was just saying on Twitter just earlier, like, you know, I personally wouldn't mind, say, Sergio Conceição, who just left Porto. I actually think he would be a good shout. It'll never happen, but we have to look, we have to try, we have to do something different because it's just not working. And then, yeah, the transfers haven't helped, but honestly, it doesn't matter. He could have all the transfers in the world, and I still don't think it's going to work out because as soon as someone has an off day or someone gets injured, it just falls apart for him. He needs every single piece to line up perfectly in order for him to succeed. And that to me is the sign of someone who just can't make it work at the top, because for all of the other managers, whether you think they're better than him or worse than him, they seem to be able to make do with their circumstances. And I think that is the sign of something, especially in the Premier League, that is very, very important.
Tommy,
um,
before you go, I want to follow up on what Imani said quickly. Imani said something about how, like, in the Premier League, managers adapt. Today, we all know Aston Villa are really good, right? They've been really good on Unai Emery. The fact that they went up 1-0 and then conceded 2 goals against Aston Villa and didn't even buckle. Not even the sink, because I remember I was watching that game this morning. They didn't buckle in the slightest. Kieran McKenna's boys rolled up and almost won that game. They tied 2-2, but you could see that those players are buying into every single thing that guy is selling. And he's been with them since League One to the Championship to the Premier League, and they're all still buying in as a collective. You can see it with Mikel Arteta. Like, I think in the first couple, like the first season, yeah, I would understand people weren't too sold on Mikel Arteta. Like, he hasn't won anything, but Arsenal are a hell lot of a better of a team because of him, because of the way he coaches and the way he brings out of his players. So again, there's so many examples near us, even in other leagues, that you can see that, like, yo, this manager is not it, not even in the slightest. But Tommy, go ahead.
I'm gonna first of all, Imani, that was a great point about you need to be able to adapt. I feel like that's what the best managers do. That's what Sir Alex does. That's what, and I know I'm using like tip top managers, but that's what Sir Alex does. That's what Pep did. Like you're able to adjust, right? And this I heard this quote. It was about like college football, Nick Saban, but it still matters. The winners are able to adapt and adjust at their peak so they can see the next trend and set it. He can't even see stuff's not going well. I need to change up now. But I tweeted this, and all of our attackers or best players, they're being played to their weaknesses, not even their strong points. Rasmus, running behind, running the channels, isolate him one on one with a center back, a fullback. He can get space, create his own shots. Ten Hag has him doing Patrick Ewing shifts back to goal. That's ridiculous. Rashford got you in his first season. Rashford got him 30 goals and like 11 assists. Doing what? He saw we didn't have a recognized striker, so he put Weghorst there. Weghorst can drop. Rashford runs into the space behind. That's how Rashford has been. That's how Rashford made his money. That's how Rashford has over 200 goals and assists for Manchester United. What does Ten Hag do? Shift him out wide. Everyone in the United fan base knows Garnacho, great player, good player, great prospect. He shouldn't be starting. He's someone who needs to come off the bench, energize the flanks. Is a spark plug. What did Ten Hag do? Start him for 30 straight matches. Straight up refused to play Ahmad. Just straight up said no. and
Played
now he has
Omari
my
Forson.
played Omari Fortune, who we didn't end up keeping over Ahmad, right? And I remember I brought that up. People were like, oh, we need to get Omari Fortune to sign the contract. What about the guy that's already signed the contract, that's here, that we know for a fact he will be here in our future? Let's use him. He has Mino, talented, like good all around midfielder. But what is Mino's best attributes? Collecting the ball from midfield, pushing up, like dribbling, getting the ball forward, and then playing the pass to the playmaker. I would say at this age, Mino isn't like the perfect playmaker yet, but his job, he can dribble the ball, carry the ball, that 8 role, right? He puts him next to Casemiro and Eriksen, who have no legs. What does Mino have to do? Chase an entire midfield by himself. He gets tired, turns the ball over. Just straight up refuses to get a new left back, because we have to be honest. It's time for Luke Shaw to go. It's time for us to get a starting left back, right? And so all this stuff, like even you have to talk about even being able to adapt at the peak, change the team. Like if one person, like Imani said, if one person gets injured, he can't play his own game. He can't play his game. He can't play the game with the people we have when they're not hurt. It's ridiculous.
I'm going to tell you guys something funny about Tottenham, right? So obviously the other fellas are Arsenal fans, right? And we all know what Tottenham wants to do. They want to play basketball. Tottenham wants to go
Yeah.
end to end. They don't give a damn. That's what they do. Skip midfield. Arsenal had players out against Tottenham, so they went to a 4-4-2. Tottenham could not break Arsenal down at home. They were struggling, and Arsenal hit them on a set piece, right? That's what coaches do. You adapt. Arsenal usually play a 4-2-3-1. Odegaard was out. They didn't have anybody else, so they played a 4-4-2, and they had Trossard up top with Havertz, and they just bossed the shit out of Tottenham for 90 minutes. Tottenham couldn't lay a glove on them. United just open. And if that's the thing, that's the most frustrating thing, is that this is exactly how we look every single week. It's not like as if it's like a new phenomenon, right? Somebody's like, it's like, this is what we see every single week. You have a coach who, in the first 3 minutes, Tottenham concedes, and we all knew it. Literally, as soon as that whistle blew, we're like, oh, we are screwed. We are completely...
Literally.
That we saw that whistle happen, right? And I know you came 20 minutes late to the game. I saw that whistle happen. I was like, oh, we are so fucked.
I don't mean to interrupt, but they scored in 3 minutes, right?
Yep.
You could tell that goal was coming. We were so open from jump.
And it's the same type of goals. Like, granted, it wasn't a cutback to the middle and then it scores. It was far post, but it's the same shit all the time. And it's just like, why are we always so spread open? Like, my God, like, I didn't come here to go to a strip club. I came here to watch a game. We're always so open, just dancing on the field. Like, get a grip.
I didn't know Tootsie's opened up a Manchester edition, but
like,
here
bro,
we are.
Man. And the most frustrating thing is, I know for a fact, it's visible. You brought in staff that you trust, people of the highest credentials, qualities, experience. If I can see it, you can see it. Why can't you fix it? Why? And all these excuses in the press conferences, bro, save it. Save it. Like, don't lie to me. I know what I see.
And that's the thing about the press conference today. Like, he sounded like a man that was so devoid of just confidence. Like, the gentleman who's interviewing him basically was pressing him, and he's just like, well, we got to forget today and think about Portsmouth. It's like, no, you should forget about Man United in general and just leave. How about that? I'm gonna give you guys some stats. There are only 3 teams who conceded more goals than Man United. Leicester 12, Brentford 10, Ipswich Town 10, and West Ham have conceded 10. We've conceded 8.
Wow.
This is the 25th time Man United have conceded 3 goals or more under Erik ten Hag. 25 times.
They scored it's ridiculous.
Hold on one second. I gotta actually do math because that's not my strong subject. So you mean to tell me 25 games under Erik ten Hag, they've scored at least 75 goals, at least bare minimum in 25 games.
That is wow.
We're still at a negative goal differential already.
Yes, absolutely are.
I know a negative goal difference. Hate to see us coming.
It is absolutely just, this guy has spent so much money, and the worst part is, like, he doesn't even get his best players. He didn't bring us Kudus, didn't bring Timber, didn't even bring his twin brother Quinton. Good.
Don't get me started. He didn't even bring Edson Alvarez. I'll take that hatchet man right now.
Yo, don't get me started on transfers because now I'm really about to go off.
Please
Like,
do.
again, I hate to be right, but at the same time, I have to be right and say I told you so. From
Good.
season 1, when he was hell bent on Anthony, I said, this isn't going to work. I never was for Anthony, especially for that price, and it's fucked us over 3 years later because of the financial situation. I didn't understand it. I was like, if you're going to spend $80 million on Anthony, I'd rather you go spend $60 million on an injured freaking Pedro Neto, because what are we doing here? And then
Bro,
and then after that, here comes season 2. What does he do? Mason Mount. Like, you're never ever ever going to convince me that that was a good signing. Ignore the fact that I just don't think he's a good player. Like, I have an agenda, so we're going to move past that. He had 1 year left on his contract. Why are you bailing out a top 6 rival with PSR? I don't care if he's the best player in the world. Out of principle, you shouldn't have taken that deal because it all it did was help strengthen your immediate rival. We should have held our guns and been like, no, we're not paying this. We're either gonna wait for the contract to run down or you're gonna sell him to us for 20 million. No, you fork out 67 million of the dead Queen's British pounds. What are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing? And then here comes Ineos. Oh, it's cute. We have a little freaking committee and we have scouts and things are going to change. And what do? We sign Matthias de Ligt and Manny Yogurt. What are we doing here? Like, I'm never gonna be convinced with de Ligt, you guys. I'm sorry. A guy that got his chain snatched by Eric Dyer can't be good. Yeah, it's a good price, but he's just not good. And then Ugarte, he's like, no, we funded their move to get Jao Neves. Like, let me stop now because now I'm ranting. Let me stop.
on the transfers thing. First of all, I'm on your side mostly. And anyone saying, "Oh well, he didn't he wanted those players. Every single player he brought in, besides maybe Casemiro, he wanted all of them. He wanted Anthony. Okay, I don't want you. He wanted Mount, and that Mount signing. That Mount. If I speak on that Mount signing, give him the number 7. His wages are like not insane, but we're still paying him. No, he's paid 60 plus million. And also his best position is where Bruno plays, and then you won't rest Bruno, and then it's just so frustrating. And I'm still not convinced about Ugarte because I believe like Collier could do what Ugarte is doing. That's my opinion. Like, I haven't seen enough from Ugarte. Like, I was a believer, and Delit, he's good. I'll say he's good, but
He has a
he's
bozo
not.
gene. He has a
Yeah,
bozo gene. That's what it
yeah.
is.
I
I
think
have
that's what it is.
to I have to push back on the Delit thing, by the way, because when Eric Dyer did start, he started 14 games and they're all right next to Delit. So I have to push back on that because he didn't get his chain snatched by him. That didn't happen.
Okay.
But
But Makano got his chain snatched.
yes, Dio is not good, but that's neither here nor there. However, with that being said, it's very interesting that now we have actual adults in the room. They're still acting like children. I don't know if the club is that cursed that everybody starts losing their brain cells when it comes to buying players, but it's bad. But yeah, today against Tottenham was just bad. I mean, I wouldn't even praise Tottenham because a real team would have smacked United 7-8-0, but Tottenham can't do anything. So, but they beat us, so I can't really talk shit. But however, with that being said, Tottenham still stinks. However, with all that said, Erik Ten Hag has to go. I think that's the biggest thing that if you listen to this podcast, this episode, the most important thing is that Erik Ten Hag has to go. There is no saving grace because it doesn't get easier. You got Porto on Wednesday, who they're up 3-0. And if you think that Dominic Solanke, I hate the way they say his name, by the way. If you think that Dominic Solanke was a tough striker to handle, guess what you got coming next? You got Samu from Porto, the
Oh
Nigerian
my
kid,
god,
throws his weight
that's
around.
I got like 6'7".
Then you got Ollie Watkins on Sunday, and then when
Grown ass men.
And Morgan Rogers.
No. When Ollie Watkins is tired, guess who comes off the bench? Durant.
Yeah, whatever,
So
man.
it's not looking good these next 2 games for Man United. Question for you guys. I know you mentioned young coaches and things like that, and I'm gonna get to another point. I'm gonna bring NFL in because it's Sunday. I'm a big Ravens fan. Everyone knows that. And I had this conversation with Tommy 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, about how managers get older, right? And Imani, I'm gonna give you exactly why I came up with this, right? So I'm going off of edible, right? So I already know that I was not mentally there. But I came up with this thing when I was watching the Ravens lose. I think we lost to the Raiders, and I was pissed. So I took an edible, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I came up with something. I was like, when John Harbaugh got hired in 2008, he was the young and up-and-coming coach. He stayed for the last 16 years, so now he's the second oldest coach in the league. And the thing I've always said is that managers, no matter what, they get phased out because that's just the nature of sport. Like, the younger coaches come in all the time. There was a time in '95 where Louis Van Gaal was the guy. Now Louis Van Gaal is the grandfather. Bill Belichick was the guy. Now he's doing TV appearances because that's where he should be. Same thing is happening with the United. Is like we keep getting these managers who are not even in their prime, but they're just not there for us, right? Like Jose Mourinho was way past his sell by date. Louis Van Gaal was way past his sell by date. Ole wasn't. And again, I know people love Ole, but Ole wasn't the one for us. I'm sorry. He was
We
not.
lost 6-1 to Spurs, bro. We lost 6-1 to Spurs on the Ollie. I was there. I saw it.
David Moyes was not ready for the United job. And Erik Ten Hag now is in his prime. He's not the offensive-minded coach that we need. He's not the sort of like young and up-and-coming coach we need. And I think United needs to really, really look outside of their own purview and look into other leagues and actually look for a manager who they can just shield and protect the media noise away from him, because there are so many talented managers. They might not be the best, but there are some talented managers. Like, I'm going to say I'm crazy, but Bournemouth's coach, Areola, he's a really good coach. Honus, that coaches Stuttgart, he's another really good coach. I'm not going to bring up the Zerbi because he should be in prison.
Exactly.
Amarim is another really good young coach. Thiago Motta went to Juventus, obviously. Nagelsmann is riding his skateboard in Munich. He doesn't want to coach any club team for now. So it's just, you look at the market, it's like, what do United do? But take a risk. That's the number one thing. But who do you guys think United should hire as the next manager?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Stuttgart guy. I forgot his name, but I've seen a few of his games this season. I like how he sets up. I think that would be good. And I've mentioned Sergio Conceição, who's out of a job right now. I think he would be good in terms of how he sets up, and also he doesn't take shit. Like, he will drop you if you don't press. And I feel like the one thing that Ralph Ragnick got right, because he was terrible, but the one thing he got right is that our team was full of bitches and you need to act like a grown ass man. And I feel like Sergio Conceição would do that. So those are my two picks. Everyone will say, "Oh, Xabi Alonso," but I actually don't think Xabi Alonso should come here. Like, that wouldn't end well for him. So, and I personally, I don't like back threes in the Premier League. Like, get that away.
By the way, Imani, Sergio Conceição doesn't have a job right now, actually. He's no longer the coach of Porto.
No, that's what she said.
Yeah. It's Vitor Bruno. I don't know. I guess that's the new thing for them. But yeah, I get it. United players, they need somebody who's a man. And like, I know we're not the biggest fans of Diego Simeone, but they need a man, like an actual grown man who can actually come up with new tactics and new ideas. Because I don't think this team is as bad as what we're seeing. I genuinely
we're not.
It's definitely not. But I don't think we need to get a terrorist either. And I rate Simeone. I think Simeone's great. He's underrated, but I don't want him. Maybe I'm just too scarred from Jose, but I don't want Simeone at my club. Even though I rate him highly, I don't want another terrorist.
Oh yeah, listen, I absolutely think Simeone is a good manager. I don't want to manage United. Jose Conceição, I definitely like that shout because I did not think about him till you said it. And honestly, I'm still stuck on the Karen McKenna train. Like, if anything, if we're gonna take a big leap, first of all, number one, don't give that bald terrorist to the end of the season. What? UK's like 6 hours ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're like 8, almost 9 right now. When it gets to 12, if he's not fired, I will have some words.
It's
but
7.
Give it.
It's 7:37 in England.
So they have a couple hours. They know what needs to be done.
I don't think Kieran McKenna would leave Ipswich
in the middle.
Oh no. He won't leave the middle of the season. Absolutely not. That's when I say give it to Rude and the other guy from Utrecht. I don't know. We got some other Dutch guy. give it to one of them to the end of the season, then try to tempt McKenna. If we'll see how McKenna's feeling. I I'm still a believer in Nagelsmann. I feel like he can be convinced to leave that Germany job, and I want him as my manager. I'm so sorry. I think he has all it. I think he has. I know that's a big flashy name, but I truly believe he has what it takes to be the United manager.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I saw Victor Lindelof today. Shit's got to change, man.
He
Like,
played.
he was about to come on, but Ma came on. But yeah, Victor Lindelof was warming up today.
Don't piss me off, bro.
Yeah, Erik Ten Hag also said there's always a match. A new day will bounce back. No, we'll bounce back. You'll need to bounce. That's what happens. Like, you need to bounce. So, but yeah, I think the writing's on the wall.
Also, is it Bruno?
Yeah, I think we need to have
He
a conversation
hasn't.
with Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. No, I generally think like he has not been good this season at all. Like at all. And even his standards of like playmaking, Rashford's been our best playmaker this season, like statistically and eye test wise. It's been Rashford, and I would say maybe Xerxes and Ahmad. But even the number one thing we're able to always be like, at least Bruno's creating chances. He's not doing that. He's not doing that. He's not like he can't dribble. So that's always more likely for him to lose the ball.
If we're gonna keep it a buck, we're gonna really, really nitpick. That first goal was on him. He tried to spam a pass that was too hot for Rashford, and they countered.
And and Rashford and Garnacho were just in two mindsets. Because I saw people trying to blame Rashford, trying to blame Garnacho. I'm like, if you play football, you know that's just one of them things that's like, it was a hard pass, but whatever. But yeah, no, Bruno, he's not been good. He's not creating chances, not scoring. Like he's just generally not been good from the first game to now.
Well,
and honestly, this
now-
red card, he has to sit. He has to sit.
A blessing in disguise, because 3 games without Bruno, like, I've been calling for him to just sit down on the bench. Like, can we play Ahmad in the 10? Hell, can we play Xerxes in the 10? Or you know what? Let's just do a 4-4-2. Let's go back to our roots, people. Whatever happened to tradition? Tradition.
I was literally about to say 4-4-2 actually suits United more than anything. And if we want to get really fancy and
4-1-1.
If we want to get really fancy, just put Rasmus on the right and let him run in behind and have Xerxes as the striker and then have Ahmad somewhere. But if you want to get really crazy like that. But again, I'm just happy that Bruno, in a weird way, that wasn't a red card, but we needed Bruno to sit. And I really want to see what the team looks like without Bruno for 3 games, because he's now approaching for me, or not approaching. He's been there for me. I would have sold him last year. I don't give a damn what anybody. If you want to come beat me up, try me, because you won't do it. Anyway, I just think that Bruno is like Coutinho at Liverpool, where like you need to find somebody to come take that money so you can actually get somebody else and like fill other holes in the team. I think that if Saudi wants to give us 50+ million for Bruno Fernandes, please come and take him. I beg. I would love if you did that. I just feel at this point, like with the direction the club is going, the sort of style that Bruno plays, where he spams a lot of balls and like he's just so reckless with it. It's not healthy for anybody. So there's that.
It's not. Especially in the Premier League, like that type of spamming the ball and then just losing it, it's just not good. Like everyone knows he has his qualities and it's why he does well in the international stage, and hell, he'd probably go kill it in Italy, but that type of chaotic ball, it doesn't work in the Premier League.
They actually kicked him out of Italy. He was at Sampdoria and he went back to Portugal. So
Udinese.
Yeah, he was
no,
it was both
I
clubs.
forgot about that. He was there for like, wasn't he there for like a year or something?
And also, while we're at it, let's replace him. And I know we want Vitz or Musiala. I would love them. Go get me a Zay, man. Go get me a Bereche. Let's add some Nigerians to this team.
Yeah, he was at Udinese from 2013 to 2016, Sampdoria for a year, then went back to Sport. They went to Sporting, and then now he's with us. You said you want Eze at United?
Yeah. He wouldn't be cheap, but I think Eze could do the job, man. Do you see how him and Elise played? He can work well with our wingers.
Yeah, but I think for the money that Crystal Palace want, to me, it wouldn't be worth it. Like, I'm sure the scouts can go find someone in another league for a better price.
He has a £68 million release.
Never mind.
Exactly. And he's like, what, 25? No, thank you.
No, he's older than that, actually.
Yeah, he's like 27.
Oh shit!
No, he's not 27. He's 26. Yeah.
Damn.
He's
Yeah,
26. Yeah.
68 million. Go ahead and take that money to France or South America.
Yeah.
You good.
Anything else you want to add before we get out of here? Because
Angel Gomez, please come home.
And Grace Clinton scored again. That's 2-2 for her for the United Women's team. We beat Everton 1-0.
thank God, at least one Man United team won today. And it's funny because our women's team's coach is just like our men's team coach.
Oh, I didn't even start. Skinner? Yeah. All right, buddy. Yeah, you're on the hot seat too. Don't think we don't see you.
Yeah, we're just so tired out that we haven't had time to go on a new buddy, but God, he sucks.
Yeah, like what's that man's name? Pat Williams. Do you know we can see you?
Yeah.
We can see you, guy.
Yeah,
You're not safe.
I miss Casey Stoney. Please come back.
She doesn't have a job, so we can go
Bro,
hire her again.
she's not coming back, dude. I'll bet. I mean, we are under new ownership, so hopefully they can convince her.
You know,
And I was about to say the UA teams have been balling out too, undefeated in league play also.
yeah, they won 9-0 yesterday. Last thing before you head out, and I've been thinking about this at NFL, and Tommy probably knows this because I texted him this. You know what Man United needs? Man United needs more YNs. That's what Man United really needs. We need a bunch more YNs. That's really like what Man United needs. They need a coach who can talk to the YNs and need some actual YNs. Like, like Alabama and Georgia just got all of them in LSU. We need that. We need a bunch. And I'm not talking about just the black ones. We need white ones too. We need white YNs. We need
Bro, that's Collier. That you can't tell me Collier does not look like he's from Mississippi with that haircut.
He's
Him
not
and Dan Gore.
He's not a YN. Like Archie Manning, that's a YN. But we need that. That's what we need. I'm sorry for that. That was on my spirit and I had to say that. That's what Man United needs. At the end of the day,
man.
we need more. Yeah.
We have one who 2 foot into 50-50 tackles and is 5'9".
He's not a YN. He's a thug. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. That's
not
a
henchman.
Yeah,
he's a henchman.
He's a hatchet man. He's a hatchet man. Someone like I was gonna say Moise Keane, but Moise Keane isn't good enough to be a YN.
No, I'm not saying no. Keep that man away from my club.
Yeah. But yeah, I lost the point of what I was basically trying to say. Basically, Man United just needs to get rid of Erik Ten Hag. That's the first thing that we need to do. Okay, that's the most important thing. So he has to go. But yeah, y'all have nothing else you want to talk about because I'm tired of Erik Ten Hag.
Yeah,
no, I'm good.
I'm tired. Mine is blank. I'm mad. I woke up to watch the rest of that game.
In the rain. It's funny, Imani, we both got 2 Eriks in our life. One got indicted, the other one needs to be indicted as well. So Erik with a K, Erik with a C, you both need to get indicted. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we are out. Imani, thank you so much for your time. We are out. Probably back on Wednesday because Man United plays on Wednesday. So yeah.
Why did you remind me?
We go again, unfortunately. We're out. Everyone
take it easy. We? You go again.
We're out. Everyone take it easy. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off.